You're now tuned in to Competitive Edge.
All right, we're live with another podcast with the Gabe Flynn. This one's going to be a shorter one. We went a little bit longer than expected last time. We'll see where this goes. No real plan. I think we'll get into some overcoming failures and how Grizzly went and just kind of see where it goes. I don't really want to have too big of an itinerary for this one. So, How are you, man? You just got back from Grizzly?
Pretty good. A bit sick, but under the weather. Well, that just happens. But no, Grizzly went great.
Yeah. This is your first time going?
Yep. First time going to Grizzly Classic, biggest or one of two mag competitions in North America.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty nice.
Pretty epic. Did you bring back any hardware?
I did. I brought back two silver medals on P-bars and high bar, which I was quite stoked about.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So Grizzly is basically the national competition, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Give anybody who doesn't know what a Grizzly, including myself, I didn't know until you found out about it. So anybody who doesn't know what Grizzly is, give them a rundown of what the Grizzly comp is.
Well,
it's more mag oriented, right?
Yes, it's all mag.
All mag.
Grizzly
Sweet.
Classic is an international competition. So Team Canada, Team USA, and Team Mexico all compete. And then on
Mexico as well. That's so epic.
Yeah. On top of that, there's also junior, senior, national open, and then the lower provincial levels that they get to compete there as well.
Sweet. I didn't know provincials went too. The
Yeah.
PP pathway. All the way down to level what?
1.
Really?
Every level.
Must be a lot of athletes there.
Yeah, the
Wow.
level 1, 2, and possibly 3 is the last day of the comp once everyone else is done.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
That's cool. At least they get them in there. That's wild. There must have been hundreds, if not thousands, of.
Oh yeah,
people.
well, at least when my session there was at least I don't know, I want to say 75 just in my one
Crazy.
session, and they have multiple sessions a day.
And that's
so.
National Open Junior.
Yeah.
Wild. One day you'll be at senior at this comp, hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully next year. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Big goals. So if you got silver at Grizzly, that basically means you're second best in the country at parallel bars and high bar.
Yeah, which is
How does that feel?
it felt great.
That's wild.
It's something that I've always strived for, and I guess I had to repeat at the actual nationals.
Yeah. So let's talk about Grizzly, and maybe we can jump into a few lessons or just chat about Grizzly. Was there any big ups there? Obviously, the medals were part of that.
The medals were a big up, but honestly, podium training. So for everyone that don't know what podium training is, it's a day where every gymnast gets to go and test out the equipment, get the feeling for it, because all the equipment's different.
Which you noticed.
Yeah. But it was so hyped. The gym atmosphere was so good.
Wicked.
Everyone just cheering each other on.
Heck yeah.
And the equipment felt great, but I also got to do some skills, especially on pommels, that I don't even compete, but just
Sweet.
show off, which was really fun. But everything flowed so well.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, it continued right on to comp day. So
Let's go. Yeah, so a big up is podium training, where you have all these different nations kind of cheering for each other, all on the same team. No one's really competing on podium training.
And
that's super cool.
And unlike nationals, at this competition, the juniors, national opens, aspires, and seniors all got to train together.
Oh, cool.
So that that made it even better. I
Wow,
think.
so you got to train with the seniors.
Yeah.
Wow, see some big skills.
Oh yeah, huge skills.
Canada's looking good. US was there too, I guess.
It was only the junior teams for the international meet.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
no senior teams.
Man, what a competition.
Yeah.
Sounds like a big W. So what about, that's ups, what about downs? Was there any downs at this comp? Any failures?
Well,
any mistakes? Any?
I wouldn't say any failures, but definitely learning curves.
Okay, learning curves. Good word.
Especially on pommels and rings.
Okay.
Well, rings was more of a slip up.
Literally.
But pommels was a bit of an eye opener on some form issues.
Right. Cool.
But everything else went quite well.
Cool. I wonder, can we get the videos? Because apparently you got some videos from Grizzly.
Yeah,
right?
I got some videos.
It'd be cool because is there a video of the slip up on rings? I wonder. Probably not.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, more.
There
I
is?
think so.
Okay, maybe we'll throw this in here if we can get our hands on them. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So then everybody knows what slip up means. Want to just explain what happened on rings?
So there was a little issue with the apparatus where on podium training, one ring was the cord was longer than the other, so the rings weren't level.
Right.
And though on podium training they felt like fine.
Yeah.
Once competition started, they actually changed the rings.
Oh.
So they put like a new set up, and
Wow. That's weird.
it wasn't just me. Like everyone was either slipping or pinging off.
That's super dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I
no
actually,
big injuries, I hope.
No,
That's
but I
good,
talked
that's
to a
good.
lot of people, and a lot of people were like just considering just not competing in rings because they were like
Sketchy,
terrible.
especially on competition day to switch it up. You think they would have had it for podium training, whatever
actually.
setup they would have
Now that
had.
you say that, one of my friends, right before he got up to do his routine, he told his coach that I'm not going to compete this skill or this skill.
Because of the rings.
Because of the rings. And he
that's
just
brutal.
did the most basic, simple routine.
Yeah, well, it's
You're
kind of
scared
smart, though.
slipping. Yeah.
Safety, you know? Like, it's not the end of the year. It's not nationals. He probably wants to go to nationals healthy, not risking it, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah. Speaking of risk and failure and slip-ups, in the last podcast, we talked about your story. If you guys haven't checked that out, you want to check out Gabe's story. He shared his full journey, basically. That was a long one. You can check it out. But we didn't get into, like, many setbacks other than injuries. Like, I'd love to dive into mindset and how your mindset has changed over injuries/setbacks as you grew as a gymnast from when you were young. Do you remember your first like injury or setback as a gymnast?
First kind of setback, that like major setback, I would say my
Your
lower
back?
back.
How old were you? Just kind of paint the picture.
This was 2019.
2019.
So what? I don't know, 13, 14,
Right.
something like that.
Around there. Okay, just to get a picture.
Yeah, that was. I think that was like for at least 6 months. I had the back problem. And I couldn't do like
So how did it come about?
Just it was a lot of physios were just like, oh, lack of muscle in this area, like
Right.
the core or back, or
Right.
like or honestly just growth spurts.
Right.
At that time of my age, but
So you just had lower back pain.
yeah, lower back
Yeah.
pain anytime, like just landing, rebounding,
You felt
running,
it.
any kind of like movement as such. So the other four apparatuses didn't really affect it, but like floor and vault did.
Right.
Uh,
So you kind of had to like put the brakes on those events, or
Yeah, well, I did what I could,
right.
and once people told me what they thought it was, like weak core or something, that's kind of like all I focused on for like months on end, and
Right.
but it still wasn't getting better at that point. So
So
I
it
took it
probably
into
wasn't-
my own hands and start researching it, which I've done with every injury. And it's both positive and negative when you do that.
Yeah, because you can dive into a big mind shifting, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, there is no answer for some people, and then there's people like, oh yeah, you can do this DIY at home, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
can be confusing.
it turned out to be tight hip flexors. That was so. I just when I discovered that could have been a possibility.
Yeah.
I
Started working on the lengthening.
lengthening, like rolling. I did hours on end every day of just like rolling,
Foam rolling?
and- yeah, foam
Okay.
rolling, even with just a ball.
Yeah.
just and
Yeah.
coming. Getting closer to the 2020 season, my back pain went away. So
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I feel like not only gymnastics, but a lot of other sports athletes, competitive athletes, and just recreational week-to-week, weekend warrior athletes get a lot of pains and stuff. And they go get this expert advice and they say, oh, yeah, it's weak core. Like they diagnose it as the complete wrong thing, which is kind of scary. I'm not calling anybody out here, but I've had a very similar situation myself where I had pain and somebody completely switched my mindset on what I thought it was. So I worked on the solution and it didn't get me anywhere. And then when I did my own research, just like you, I came to my own conclusions, and it was tight hips as well for me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny how we have a similar story. And mine came from hockey, but yours came from rebounding and stuff in gymnastics. But usually in sports, we use the quads a lot more than any other muscle, which is, normally they don't stay long if we don't mobilize them. So
true.
Yeah.
I've learned over time to not trust doctors. That's not the proper
Right.
word, but don't take what they say fully.
Yep.
Because they're just speaking from their experience and what they know and what you're giving them. But ultimately, like, you know how your body feels, you know how your
Facts.
body works.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like up to you to know how your each day goes, if you're feeling better or worse, what exercise are helping or not helping.
Well said.
It goes the same thing with nutrition.
Yep.
If you go to a nutritionist and they recommend a diet, I wouldn't be going to that nutritionist. Try out different foods and see what works best for you.
Yeah, and it's the same with exercises, right? And back to the whole not trusting doctors. We're not calling anybody out here. It's just, in my opinion, from my experience, now that I've traveled the world many times and run around the sun many more times, I've learned that experts are just teaching what they know, and a lot of what they know just comes from books from other people. And by the time education gets put into a book, there's such a slow process, and the world changes so fast that not everybody knows all the answers. And like you said, you know your body better than anybody else knows your body. So experimenting and trying all these different exercises. There's more education on YouTube now that's more helpful than ever before. And that's where I found a lot of exercises that I swear by for a lot of the body pains and just bomb-proofing your body. So that's a good lesson for anybody that's listening right now. If you're into sports and athletics and you're having pains, do some YouTube searches.
Yeah. Learn from your experiences, but also learn from other people's experiences.
True.
But don't take everything, take it as a grain of salt. What someone does for them might not work for you. So
a wise man once said, question everything.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is from my experience as well. That's all I can speak is from my own experience, like you said as well. The Canada Food Guide, when I grew up, told me to eat a certain way. And they said, you have to eat like this, or you're going to be fat, or you're going to be out of the weight, or you're not going to be healthy. And then a few years ago, they switched it again from the triangle, what it used to be, to a completely different food guide. And they say, don't use the old one, or it's going to be bad now. Use the new one. Even back then, they kept marketing that they knew what they were talking about, but it's just organized chaos. Take it with a grain of salt. Like you said, question everything and do what gives you the best results.
Exactly.
I think, if you're going to take anything away. What about the mindset of setbacks and failures? A lot of people I know who get injuries, they get so down mentally that they feel like they can't go anywhere, can't do anything about it. What kind of mindset do you bring when it comes to?
I can't say that I've been consistently mentally down. Sure, there's been days that I've sucked and I've been in that negative, but nothing that's lasts for weeks or months on end.
Yeah,
it's kind of just a little bump in the road.
Okay, yeah. Around when the event happens or when the setback happens.
Around the day of or the day after the injury happens, you might feel a bit down. Where do I go from here? But then
how do you switch from that?
The goal doesn't change, and that's just another thing that you have to work towards to get to that end goal.
Right, another challenge in the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bringing you back to a month ago when you got bad news when you went to your appointment, and who was it that you seen told you that you should stop doing floor and vault again? Because you were on the rise again. It was feeling good. Your knees were feeling good. Everything was feeling good. And then you went to that appointment and they give you some bad news. You didn't even show up to practice that day. That was definitely a mindset.
Oh yeah,
day,
that was a mindset day. So when the doctor actually received my X-ray of my knee and spoke to me, he just said whatever he's seen.
Yeah.
And he's no radiologist.
Right.
So he doesn't know everything about it.
Exactly.
But see, I wasn't thinking that. I was like, he's a doctor, you should know what he's talking about.
Right.
And that's where I kind of then came up with take it like a grain of salt.
Yeah, again.
He told me that there's no cartilage, there's bone on bone pain,
right?
Some
That's
big stuff,
some big
stuff like that.
I mean?
But then like Evan said, question everything, and then I started to question if I had no cartilage, I basically wouldn't be able to walk without pain.
right.
And walking doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Landing doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It's literally only rebounding.
Exactly.
So there was something fishy on the go. Went to go see my physio, he thought the exact opposite
Really?
of what my doctor said.
That's crazy.
So like two different people, two different perspectives.
Right.
And actually, when I got back from Grizzly, my mom had a note from the doctor, from a radiologist, I think.
Okay.
They wrote a paper, and there was nothing on that piece of paper that would have even gave me the idea of bone-on-bone pain or loss of cartilage.
Isn't that
so
bizarre?
like whatever the doctor said, I have no idea where he got it from.
Right.
But he just said what he thought at the time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't say that it's not true, and I can't say.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, again, back to the mindset of like how that got you down, because your life is built around this sport, is built around fitness and everything. And for someone to tell you can't do what you love, that's like a big mental hit. You know what I mean? Saying that your body can't keep up to what your mind and what your end goals are. Like, that's hard for people. There's a lot of people going through that as well.
Oh yeah,
You
it
get
is.
told.
It hit me hard. Like so hard as like I didn't go to training that day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know where if I could continue, if what the doctor did say was true.
True or not.
But the following day I came back.
We chatted about it.
Yeah, chatted
Yeah.
with Evan. It's still in the back of my mind. Still is till today. But anything in the past, any of my injuries in the past, it honestly built kind of like more motivation.
Let's go.
More so. So if he was true, I kind of just want to prove him wrong.
Yeah, let's go.
And like your body can do some
It
pretty
can
amazing
do
stuff.
some amazing stuff.
And your mind can do some amazing stuff. I'll tell you a story about that after. But your body can rebuild cartilage.
Totally.
And all this stuff. So with the proper nutrition, proper exercises, proper blood flow. It's definitely possible to rebuild if there's some still there.
That's the mindset. Now you're in control of your destiny instead of just giving up. I love that mindset, and I think that's what I wanted to dig out of you, because I live like that. I want to be in control of my destiny. And when you say I don't have the reins anymore, I can't take the wheel and it's out of my control, then you got to give up. That's scary. But when you believe that your body's able to adapt and build and grow back, that's a powerful feeling that you could do something about it with nutrition, with the movement, with the blood flow. And I'm a firm believer of that too. And you can read a lot of stories everywhere on the internet of people already doing it, right?
Yeah.
So it's possible.
I don't like being wrong. So if there's a small chance that doctor it can be wrong, he's going to be wrong.
That's some motivation, some fire inside there.
Yeah.
I love it. And you're in the middle of this journey right now. So anybody that's listening, like, you're in the middle of going through another challenge or roadblock on your journey to your end goals. So we're going to kind of keep tabs on that and see how it goes, and maybe throw some of them exercises out to the people, what works and what don't work. But you were saying about you wanted to tell a story, because we'll end it after this probably, because I want to keep this one short. But you're saying about a story about how your mind can do some amazing things. I'm a firm believer in that too. So did you want to share your story?
Yeah, so actually going back to like my back injury.
Okay.
After
when you were around 14 years old, 2019.
Yeah. Right before COVID.
Right.
I got shin splints after I recovered from my back injury. And I went to a couple of different physios or chiropractors trying to deal with the pain of the shin splints or recover from it.
And find a solution. Exactly.
Nothing really worked. Until I went to an osteopath.
Okay, I don't really know what that is. What is an osteopath? Do you know? Or should we look it up?
I wouldn't be able to explain exactly.
Okay, we can look it up on Google after.
It's no like traditional physio or chiropractor. They use more like spiritual or
interesting
breathing,
right?
Kind of like pressure points or types of methods to heal the body.
Very cool.
And my first couple sessions with him, he got me to do a couple movements, like movements with my arm. Like, how would my arm or my neck or how would anything up on the upper body would affect something down your shins? But everything's connected.
Everything is connected.
So
I was wondering where you're going to go with that.
I decided to stick it out because I was also a bit skeptical about doing this stuff.
Right, like you would be.
Yeah, and he got me to do these different types of breathing exercises and jaw exercises.
Interesting.
Which just loosened up the body and got more blood flow to different parts of the parts of your body.
Totally, breathing in general can do that without any movement. Yeah.
So
cool.
After a couple sessions, every time I went home, every night, every morning, I did those breathing exercises. I did those jaw exercises, and my shin splints went away.
That's crazy.
Never have come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just branching off to what you said about everything's connected. I did some research and I did some experimentation on my own body and some athletes that I trained about the bottoms of the foot, the sole of the foot.
Yeah.
And if you do, you know what I'm talking about. There's so many like neural connections and tendon connections and ligament connections in the bottom of our foot that if someone were to stand up right now that's listening and lock your legs and try and touch your toes, you'd be a certain distance away. If you were to massage the bottom of your feet with like a dowel or a ball deeply for 30 seconds on each foot and then go to reach down again, you will gain 1 inch to 2 inches, 3 inches of reach without doing any exercise, just by massaging the bottom of your feet. That's how connected everything is in our body, which is wild.
Well, just like in those, even for watching, just like stand up and just like kind of like open up your mouth, like,
yeah,
you can like see the muscles pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And though you might not feel it in like the bottom of your foot, those muscles that are pulling up in your neck, your jaw,
are loosening up everywhere.
Pulling little muscles all the way like everywhere.
Yeah. I heard a knock at the door, so we're probably gonna leave it here.
Perfect.
Until next time.
Okay.
You guys can come in. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks a lot, Gabe. I already owe you a shirt from the website, so you're not getting another one. See you. Bye.